seems that Adrian... No way. Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She is your manager. Would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. Of course you were. See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your hakama. Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then... Dude, you're saying it really was her? Yes, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Corrida. But why? I thought she was buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial is over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Get me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze. Okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Celeste Impacts' missing suicide note, right? Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impacts as her strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impacts suddenly killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note, and the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Corrida, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Corrida. All to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible, but one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impacts. Wasn't that Edgeworth? Yeah. It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Alright, I also do apologize for the massive break in uploads. I've not been feeling super well, and I've also have outside obligations with community theater. So, in between trying to recover my voice from being sick and my spare time being used for that, I have not exactly had the best 2 weeks. At least in terms of busy. Community theater's fun and all, but being sick is not, especially when it takes... For some reason, getting older, my throat takes a lot longer to recover after being sick. So, that doubly sucks. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Corrida's room. What is your occupation? I am the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Ungard. I see. Now then. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yes, sure, what is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Corrida. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So it was a fry and bait matter. Or was that bait and fry? Oh, reminds me of fishing. Bait and switch. Judge bait and switch. But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that. I think there's someone who would beg to differ. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. Okay, so this is gonna be interesting. What's her side of the story? It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. She poured herself a glass after discovering the body? That doesn't sound right at all. You poured yourself a glass of juice? Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Phoenix. She's one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yeah, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Disrupt her pacing? She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking, so you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand? Okay, I don't like that Mia's basically giving me that sort of prep talk, but let's see what happens. Hopefully this isn't one of those cases where I have to be careful what I press on. Okay, well, until I see evidence to the contrary, let's just press and see what we get. And what was Mr. Ungar doing at that time? He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony. Mr. Ungar did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you could say it could not have taken... Oh wait, hold on. Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? It? What are you... Objection! Right, I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Ungar's knife from his room? No. Subject, verb, object, right? Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. Okay, so I'm not gonna get anything there. After that, I went to Juan's room. And why did you do that? As a friendly gesture, Juan was to make an appearance with the other heroes. So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? Let her be for now. We'll look at some other stuff later. I should back off. As long as I don't have any proof, she's not going to talk. May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got to his room? Yeah, normally I would try to press that really fast, but considering Mia's prep talk, I'm gonna relent until I see what all is available. You were in shock? What, was I not supposed to be? Miss Andrews is a very calculating person. And despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Kurita. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not. I see. Okay, so nothing in there. So it was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. This is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest. And the guitar case was like this too? Yes, it was open and empty, of course. And then what did you do next, witness? That is still weird to me. About the guitar case. Because, I mean, all we know about the guitar case is that it had water only on the top of it. There was some water, but only on the top lid. It has Kurita's fingerprints. So, presumably if you had gloves, they wouldn't show up on the case. But the guitar itself was found at the studio. Okay, well, let's press this last bit. The juice part. Juice? Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Kurita, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank? I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing? What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. What was she starting to say just now? Oh, no. We're not gonna let this one slip us by. Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Huh. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry, it's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. Huh? Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? This mess of glass shards? There's our contradiction! Okay. It was originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. But the guitar case would have... I think it is the guitar case. This isn't lining up. Why did you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess. It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony. I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. I was the one where it fell onto the guitar case. But the problem with that is that there was no water inside the guitar case. It's only on the top lid. So if the water fell onto the guitar case, then she would have had to open up the guitar case afterward. So yeah, that's not lining up. And I think that's what we need to do. But I'm gonna press this anyway just to see what we get. What kind of flower vase was it? It was a glass vase, and it was fairly big and heavy. I thought I would try to take Juan's pulse, so I set the glass I was holding down on the dresser. And that's when my elbow accidentally hit the vase. That's odd. I thought she was always in total control of herself. That's what she would like people to think. Always be mindful of the gap between your perception and reality. Doesn't sound like there's any glaring contradictions in her testimony just now. I warned you earlier that she would not crack so easily. The only way to make her is to keep on the offensive and not let up. The only way you're going to catch her is with some very strong, decisive evidence. Find something. Just have to. For Maya's sake. Okay, so before we do that, let's maybe press this. Let's press further here. Maybe there'll be something else. And if not, then we just get the guitar case. Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon? What are you implying? You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim. Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at the time. I can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess. May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got to his room? Okay, so nothing there, but thankfully no penalty. I was the one who knocked the flower vase over where it fell onto the guitar case. And yet... Nope, that's not it. Where's the crime scene photo? There we go. So, the vase is all shattered there, but the guitar case was already opened. If she had knocked the glass beforehand, it would have, all the water would be inside the guitar case. But it's not. It's on the top of it. Which means she either opened the guitar case afterwards, or, more likely, she's lying about the whole thing. Objection! You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there a problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that were true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. That's very true. Furthermore, there's one other strange thing about this guitar case. And what is that? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. And what's wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shard should be inside, not outside the case. What is your point, right? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over. Is that all? No. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case. But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it? It seems that there's no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case? Yes! Because why lie? Why lie about that? I'm willing to bet that the suicide note, or she thought maybe the suicide note, would be in the guitar case. That's my line of thinking. No. She's not getting let off that easy. The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this. But it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either. Alright, I'll follow along. For now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, how are we gonna worry about the guitar case? I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. Not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. Liar! Liar, liar, liar! It doesn't look like this really... It looks like this really wasn't a very important point. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using any way to change the topic, a convenient escape for a weak man. Okay, well, he didn't say, right, like, get on with it, so... I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked it over. Liar, because only one's fingerprints are on here. But let's press everything first before we jump to conclusions. During your testimony just now, did you remember those events clearly in your mind? Well, you see... Are you sure you are the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not. Sounds like her dependent side is taking over. Well, Miss Andrews? Yes, it was me. Okay. I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. So, you opened the guitar case then? Yes. Well, maybe. She is very scatterbrained right now. Why did you open the guitar case? Huh? Mr. Kurita's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open a guitar case. Objection! As the witness has said multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Why would she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back on topic. Okay, still got 2 more things here. Let's just press these and then present our case in case... Now I'm getting turned over by my own words. Press everything, and if nothing changes, we present the guitar case because it doesn't have her fingerprints on it. Was it really empty? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. Objection! How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention. Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright. Sorry. Okay, as for why I opened the case, even I don't know. Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it. I'm not going to get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. I guess I should give it a try. Come on, Phoenix, we can't afford to let up on her now. I wasn't planning on letting up, but she's at her weakest now, so this is our chance. Yeah, we had a weapon to hit her with. I'm sure a weapon's hiding somewhere in the court records, waiting to be found. Okay, so yeah, nothing there. I must have opened the guitar case. If that were true, your fingerprints would be on here. But they're not. Objection! There's no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. What is it, Miss Andrews? You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time? Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time? It was the night of the award ceremony. So of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime. That's strange, because we saw her that day, and she was definitely not wearing gloves. Or, the other option. Huh, gloves? You mean like the one that the Nickel Samurai had? You were wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? I mean, we have Lotta's photo. Oh, wait a minute, hurt the wine glass! You weren't wearing gloves because your prints would not have been on the wine glass. Take that! I have your proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Ugh! Order! 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 Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. I wonder if it was really empty, though. But the guitar! The bright red guitar was at the studio! Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. You don't mean... it was a bright white guitar! Wait, that's not right either. The suicide note, Phoenix! I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case... Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided... No, Your Honor! Please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it was wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I am sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you're so sure, right, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please, enlighten us as to why that guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder. Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Well... let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case. The bright red guitar not being the only thing? You don't mean to suggest that a bright black guitar would have... So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty. Is that it, right? I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have at it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder?